Right now at 6, a weather watch alert for torrential rain and a potential for flooding. We'll break it down for you coming up.
Well, right now the search continues for a man police say barricaded himself inside of a home and then somehow was able to escape. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is going to have the latest details.
Also today, the deadline for Electric Boat to reach a contract with its workers union. We'll tell you where the talks stand this morning.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, begins with a weather watch alert.
6 o'clock, good morning. We're bracing for another wet day. Thanks for starting off your Friday with us, America Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Yeah, unfortunately, that might be underselling it. We've got a flood watch and at least the potential as we get over to meteorologist Matt Scott that these could be very significant.
So parts of the state
potentially
could see a lot of rain. We were talking about it yesterday that the computer models, the dynamics were kind of all over the place in terms of who was going to see potentially a lot of rain. Well, we're kind of zeroing it in on western parts of Connecticut. There's a flood watch now for Litchfield, Fairfield, and New Haven counties. And as you head over into the Hudson Valley, Westchester Valley area, you're talking about significant rain. So heavy at times for the state. The commute now and the commute later will be playing into this. We're looking at 1 to 3 inches for the lower amounts. Isolated 3 to 5, maybe even more, certainly possible. That, of course, leads to the potential for flash flooding, given the fact that it has been so saturated over the last few weeks. It's not going to take a lot for that. Rivers and streams still fairly high. Here's the current radar scene. We have some moderate to heavy rain. We'll start the tour just west of Hartford in the Farmington Valley, Canton, up 44 to New Hartford, Heartland to Granby, seeing some heavy rain, likely some delays at the airport because of it. As we go over into Ellington, Summers, seeing some steady rain there. I'll take you back to the big picture so you can see that we'll go right in southbound on 91 around the Rocky Hill, Cromwell area. It picks up. Route 9 is going to be a bear with some very heavy rain right now. Now, here's the problem with it. Let me show you the loop in motion. There is almost like a train track set up right over Route 8. Let's use that as a marker. And what you're going to see is a lot of tropical moisture moving south to north. And as long as that train track stays there, Route 8 areas are going to be inundated with rain for a prolonged period. Flash flood warning till 7:15 for parts of just outside of Queens, parts of Long Island, and I suspect that will be extended to western Connecticut over the course of the next few hours. So there is a flash flooding risk later on today. For the state, it's a slight risk, but look at where it's a moderate risk, and that takes you through Greenwich all the way up, I would say, into Madison, Westbrook, Clinton, even Old Saybrook, right on the fringe there. It is certainly possible that we'll see coastal flooding as well. High tides, that's not an easy situation either because we have a fuller moon to talk about. So we're talking about rain, heavy at times, 62. That's it for the high. This is going to linger into tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow afternoon. Once we get that out of the way, things are looking significantly better, and we're going to talk about that coming up in just a few minutes. It's 6:03. Let's do some traffic. Erica, what you got for that?
Well,
Tim,
Matt,
what do you have for that? Excuse me.
Hi, yes. Yeah, well, let's take a look at I-84 in Waterbury right now. Of course, we're just waiting to see, once we get the combination of all the rain and then all the cars, how many problems there are going to be, especially in the western part of the state. So we're going to want to keep on an eye on I-84 in that Waterbury area. Maybe Route 7, Route 8, those corridors are going to be a potential problem spot. So far, though, we are looking okay. Taking a further look west, I-95 in Stratford. Maybe a little bit of a slow go, but as you can see, traffic on both sides is moving. And a look from the Fox 61 Storm Tracker, too, showing you that there's a lot of water kicking up. Make sure those windshield wipers are working well, but we are doing okay. Well, let's get you out to Manchester, where there was a situation. Police had a man who was barricaded, and apparently, somehow, even though he barricaded inside a house, he managed to escape.
To get out, yeah, we're checking in with Fox 61's Brooke Griffin. She's live in Manchester with the very latest. Brooke, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story that we've been following since yesterday morning. Lindsay was there yesterday. Now we're still following this today. But Manchester police say it all started yesterday when they got a call from a woman who said that a man had entered her house on Woodbridge Street and then barricaded himself inside. Now, like you guys said, he somehow at some point actually got away, but it actually started whenever that woman was able to escape, and then she's the one that placed a 911 call. Now, police say 31-year-old Andrew Davis from Bristol was inside that home with the woman's boyfriend and her 2 children. Now, they say that the people inside believed that Davis was armed with a gun. Police say that this was not a random incident. They tell us that he and the other people in the home do know each other. Investigators say they set up a perimeter around the house and were able to get the woman's boyfriend and children out safely, leaving Davis inside that home alone. Officers tried to make contact with him multiple times, but they never did receive a response. Eventually, they sent the Capital Region Emergency Services team inside to get Davis out, but at that point he was no longer inside the home. They said they conducted a full search of that house and did not find him inside. He at some point somehow did manage to escape out of the home and run away. So that is where police are at this morning. They say that they are now looking for Davis. If you happen to see him, maybe you think you know where he could have gone, go ahead and call Manchester Police. You can even call Crime Stoppers anonymously. They say they do need the public's help with this incident. Live in Manchester, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Okay. Brooke, thank you for that report. We'll check back in a little while. Moving on now here on this Friday morning, union leaders at Electric Boat in Groton are working to get a new contract in order to avoid a strike. The deadline to reach an agreement is today, and union officials said they are hopeful that an agreement will be reached. The submarine plant is trying to keep up with the Navy's orders of new attack subs, so a walkout could be a major setback. But both the workers and HR representatives from Electric Boat said a tentative agreement is shaping up.
A Glastonbury man accused of computer crimes is expected to appear in court. Authorities say they found Patrick Hemingway in New Jersey yesterday. Hemingway is accused of misusing the state's online law enforcement communication system. He's being held on $1 million bond. State police say their investigation is still ongoing.
A business jet that crashed in Farmington 2 years ago did so probably because the parking brake was still engaged. That's according to a report from the National Transportation Safety Board. Its report said the brake caused the jet to go too slow as it was taking off from Robertson Airport in Plainville. It crashed into a building in Farmington shortly after takeoff, killing 4 people. The report also said the jet didn't have the equipment on board to notify the pilot of the parking brake issue, and that also contributed to the crash. Well, the bank that handles money for Alex Jones' company shut down that company's accounts last month due to unauthorized transactions. Axos Bank did agree to reopen the company's account for 30 days after a request by Jones's lawyers. The account held more than $2.5 million at the time it was closed. This is coming as some Sandy Hook families have criticized Jones' spending habits because they're still looking for the $1.5 billion in damages they won in a lawsuit last year.
Amazon is facing a federal civil rights lawsuit after workers say they found nooses at a construction site in Windsor. 5 Black and Hispanic electricians say they felt threatened when they found the nooses in 2021. They say they complained about the nooses, and in response, Amazon labeled them as potential culprits. They say the FBI told them to take a lie detector test. The workers are also suing 2 contractors. A dining hall on the campus of Central Connecticut State University is set to reopen today. The Hilltop Cafe was closed after several students reported feeling sick. University officials say no specific food item was found to be the source of the illnesses. The New Britain Health Department says it's investigating further and could have results by next week. If a student is feeling ill, they're asked to go to the Student Wellness Center for a checkup. UConn's 17th president is set to be inaugurated today. Radenka Merrick was appointed UConn's president a year ago after serving in an interim role for 8 months. Today's ceremony is set to start at 3 p.m. at the Jorgensen Center for Performing Arts on the Yukon Stores campus.